Welcome all to another UCAR Africa Initiative Seminar. My name is Kelly Nunez Ocasio, and I am part of the UCAR Africa Initiative working at the Mesoscale, Microscale, and Meteorology Lab here at NSF NCAR. I will be hosting the session today along with Dr. Ana del Moral from EOL, also here at NSF NCAR. Our speakers today are Dr. Belén Rodríguez Fonseca and Dr. Luis Durán, professors from the Complutense University of Madrid. They are going to talk about UCAD MET, results and lessons learned after long and stable cooperation in research, teaching, and technological innovation between UCAD, Senegal, and UCM, Spain. Dr. Belén Rodríguez Fonseca is a professor and the director of the Tropa Research Group at the Complutense University of Madrid. She received her PhD in physics and has extensive experience in tropical climate variability and related teleconnections. She is the author of many high-impact publications related to sea surface temperature-driven teleconnections and has supervised many PhD theses related to climate variability, especially in tropical Atlantic region and the Sahel. She has led numerous research projects, many of them in coordination with the University Cheikh Anta Diop in Dakar, and has 12 years of experience collaborating with African researchers. Dr. Luis Durán is a professor in the Tropa Research Group at the Faculty of Physics of the Complutense University of Madrid. He holds a PhD in physics and has experience in both industry and academia. Currently, he focuses on his work at the university, directing research projects related to observational techniques and other areas of applied meteorology. His research focus is on modeling and observing mountain meteorology, as well as improving meteorological observations in remote environments such as the Sahel region. He is the main developer of the UCAD MET meteorological network that currently is measuring meteorological variables in different locations in Dakar since 2011, and we'll learn more about that today. Belén and Luis, thank you so much for being our speakers today in this seminar series. Belén will start us off on the first half of the webinar, and then Luis will follow with his portion of the presentation. Just as a reminder, you both have a total of 45 minutes to present your work to allow for some questions at the end. And so for the audience, please submit your questions for Belén and Luis through Slido, and we will read those questions during the Q&A at the end. So with that, Belén, welcome, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Kelly. So thank you for inviting us to give this talk. It's a pleasure to share with you our experience of the last 13 years working in collaboration with the University Cheikh Anta Diop in Dakar. Here is the logo of the university. And well, we are also part of the CSIC, the National Research Center, Research Institution of Spain. I would like to acknowledge for this reason all of the funds we have had during the last years to make real this project, because this project has been funded due to little funds that every year the university and the National Research Center in Spain give for cooperation, but it's a little quantity of money. With this money, we have tried to organize a cooperation that is, now we can say that is sustainable, and based on the interchange of students, and also visit to the labs in Dakar, and trying to create a network not only based in cooperation but in collaboration, and based in the research, and also in the climate services that we can try to build in this region of the Sahel. So I would like to thank the University Complutense of Madrid, this CSIC, National Research Center, but also programs like Erasmus Mundus, Women for Africa, and mobility programs, and also some private funds from different little companies. So now our ongoing project is funded by the UCAD Med project of the University Complutense of Madrid. These are the people in Spain, and you can see some of the two students from Senegal, Aissatou Badji and Adama Badian. I don't have the picture of Mam Diara. The three of them have been the three last visitors in our lab. They are doing the PhD. Aissatou is going to defend the PhD in 1 month, and Adama in this year. They are working with us, Adama in tropical cyclones in the coast of Senegal, and Aissatou Badji in extremes events based on observations. But the rest of the group are working in Madrid in our group, and they are also collaborating with the University Cheikh Anta Diop. What are we interested in? So, well, as Kelly has mentioned, we work in sea surface temperature, the influence of the sea surface temperature variability in global climate, and in the tropical climate in particular. And we are very interested in the influence of sea surface temperature variability patterns like El Niño or the Atlantic Niño in the region of Europe, but also in the Sahel. Because the rainfall in Sahel exhibit different variability, exhibits decadal variability, but also interannual variability, intraseasonal variability. There are papers tackling from intraseasonal variability from African easterly waves, Madden-Julian oscillation, interannual variability based on El Niño or the Atlantic Niño, Indian Ocean, Mediterranean also, and decadal because it is very influenced by the Atlantic multicadal variability. We are all interested not just in rainfall, but also in the winds, because in the coast of Senegal, there is a coastal upwelling system in which the winds that are flowing from the north every year, they produce an upwelling of deep waters rich in nutrients. And because of this, the coast of Sahel, the West African coast, is very rich it's a very important ecosystem, one of the 5 more important coastal ecosystems in the globe. So we are also very interested in how this wind change and how could we predict the change in upwelling in the region. So why are we cooperating with Senegal? As I mentioned before, we should say collaborating with Senegal. Since when, where, what for? And as I told you, we are very interested in climate services. And we are, this region, the Sahel region, all the people living in this area base their economy in agriculture and in fisheries. Indeed, the seasonal cycle of the rainfall and of the fisheries are very curious, because during the dry season there are these northerly winds, and many people migrate to the coast for fishing, and during the rainy season some of these people migrate inland for the agriculture. This region is a natural laboratory for the studies of climate change, because climate change has a strong impact in the region. And also, we are very interested in other aspects, like for example, climate and health, because in this region, malaria or other vector-borne diseases are killing every year many people. Also, in this region, there is a strong evidence of the influence of Saharan dust in some important diseases, like, for example, meningitis. So, apart from that, there are other reasons, like food security, because, for example, not only people base their work in agriculture and in fisheries, but also most of the protein, animal protein, that people that live in this region of the world is based in the fish. They dry the fish. For example, this picture is of Sardinella aurita. It's a species of sardine that people in this region consume. So also I mentioned before that the Sahel exhibits a very strong decadal variability. And as we can see in this figure, this is the rainfall over the Sahelian region from the 1950 up to 2015. And we can see this famous dry period during the 70s and the 80s. And this dry period in the Sahel caused a very dramatic period in this area, and many people had to migrate. Many people migrate mostly in the region of the Sahel, but many other went into the European countries and also had to change totally their way of life. No? And after the 90s, there was a wet period. It has been demonstrated the important impact of the Atlantic multidecadal variability. And so this, which is a natural variability mode. In addition, global warming also has an important impact in these dry periods over the Sahelian region. So here, this is a picture we took in 2011. This is one of the most important beaches of Dakar and Gore. You can see here all the fishermen, and because, as I told you, fisheries is one of the most important sources of the economy of this country. And also, as I told you, malaria is also important to control malaria, to do prevention and also mitigation programs is very important. Indeed, there is a very famous malaria project of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and we have been asking for this project. We didn't success yet, but we always try. So what are we doing? So I wrote here a scheme of all the things, all the activities we have been doing in these 13 years. And we could organize them in 5 groups: educational activities, research activities, technological activities, outreach and dissemination, and climate migration. About educational activities, we have a long experience, a long track of actions dealing with the training of doctoral students, because every year we go and we do small courses of programming. We start in Python. Now we give courses of we start in MATLAB, sorry, and now we give courses in Python. And also we have been working with the people in the master they have there. It's a master based on climate variability and oceanography also. And we have been working with them not only in programming, but also in understanding tropical variability, data analysis, data statistical techniques, etc. And so with these activities, we started knowing and getting in touch with the students, and some of these students start to ask for coming to our institution in Madrid, to the University Complutense of Madrid. And here, for example, you can see Mandiara. Mandiara has just come back to Senegal last week. She has been working in meningitis, and how meningitis is outbreaks are related to dust in the Saharan region. We can see Kumbanian. I will talk about her later. She did the PhD like 5 years ago. Now is working in the US, I think it's Wisconsin, in one university in Wisconsin. Abdu also was working with us in Apuelin, and now he is working in Canada. And Ibrahim Diouf, who is now a very important person working in climate and health. He has been working in NOAA in United States and in IRI, and now he's in the Save the Children. And well, I can talk about many of them. Reni is working in agronomy, and all of them has been coming to Madrid, working with us, not only in their PhD at the beginning, but now they are researchers. Also, we have been working, as I said, in research. So what are the main topics of research? First of all, rainfall variability in different scales, from intraseasonal to interannual, decadal, and now we are very into the extreme events, tropical cyclones, very extreme events that every year, for example, the last 3 years due to La Niña. La Niña is very important for the occurrence of extremes in the Sahel. So some important streams have been recorded. And also we have, and we are researching in ocean variability and upwelling. We have just finished an European project named Triatlas. In Triatlas, we were working in 3 marine ecosystems in the tropical Atlantic, which is the Angola Benguela, the Mauritania, Senegal, and also the Equatorial Atlantic and Brazilian region. We have been collaborating in the upwelling, in the Mauritania Senegalese upwelling variability, also predictability, and also now we are working with fish model biogeochemistry. And finally, as I told before, and I said before, climate and health, mainly malaria and meningitis, although, well, there are other people working in other diseases, but not us. Regarding technological activities, Luis will talk about that because it merits another section, because in these 12 years we have been developing a network of observations. Then outreach dissemination, which is important because on the one hand, we did some documentaries that are in our network and our net in our web. You can visit our web and you will see these documentaries. And because we do outreach with homemade meteorological experiments. For example, we do several different experiments, like, for example, to create a cloud in a bottle, to explain the upwelling, to explain the monsoons, the Rossby waves, El Nino. We have, like, all of them are homemade. And this experiment that we have also a web called Meteolab. You can check in the web Meteolab. We have tried to create a Meteolab in UCAD to do some outreach in the schools of Dakar, because I think people in the schools also are very interested in knowing how climate affect the region and how climate change will affect this region. That is very important in their lives. And finally, as one of the members of TROPA, has a research. It's not a research; it's a forum of discussion with people more in humanities, people working in sociology, economy, sociology, anthropology, and we are trying to understand how climate affect migrations, because we know that many of the migrations that affect Europe are due to climate change. And nowadays, the United Nations just recognize refugees, but due to wars and other kind of problems, but not to climate change. So this forum of discussion is based on this synergy between researchers working in climate and also people working more in humanities. And this project is also with the University Cheikh Anta Diop in Dakar. So, well, I give you some pictures. This is the Ngor beach, which is in the. This is Dakar. This is the map of Dakar. This is Senegal. Dakar is the westernmost point of Africa. I could say that as well. Not taking into account the island, but is the westernmost point. And here is a zoom. and the university you can is in this region. Some of the well, this will show you later. You can meet where is located, but I am not going to talk about this. And we start in 2011. This is the first. These are some picture of me with Amadou Tierno Gaye, who is the director of the department. He was also in politics, the represent. I mean, he was in charge of science in general in Senegal, in the government of Senegal, and research. And he's a very important person. He was also a researcher collaborating in the IPCC, the AR4. And well, here is Luis with the first meteorological station, like I said before, like 13 years ago. These are some pictures of some of the people when we went to Senegal to give some courses. Here is a picture of the Gore Island, who is in this region of Dakar, and there are very nice sunset. If there is Saharan dust, the sunsets are even nicer. This we'll talk about this. About teaching, the experience is very nice because people are very interested in learning. They have a very good level of mathematics and physics, so it's more they need some support to learn programming, or to learn more, to have better skills in these technical and in technical capabilities, I will say. But the response is very, very, very nice, because all the people want to learn, and the experience is very grateful. Indeed, for example, sometimes I go there and I see people working with the scripts I program, I like 10 years ago, and they are still using these scripts, these functions, and they really appreciate all the work we have been doing with them. This is Cheikh Anta Diop. Cheikh Anta Diop was an anthropologist. He was also working in DNA, and he was a very, very important researcher of Africa. And well, this picture is also of the students in the lab during the courses we give. And also we have been giving some courses of climate variability here, where this is one of the courses about tropical Atlantic variability and tropical Atlantic teleconnections. I skipped this part about UCAD because Luis is going to talk about it. About research, this just to inspire you about the importance of fisheries and the importance of rainfall in this region, and the devastating impact of malaria in the region. I give you some pictures. I show you some pictures. This is a fish market in the street. You can see people taking like a bath in the Gore Island, and you can see how there are extreme events. One of the years we went, there was a very big extreme event that we already recorded. And this is a problem, because in Dakar it only rains 2 months a year, and the rain is during these 2 months can be very extreme. In the last years, it can be very extreme. Dakar is a city with a strong high population. There is a lot of people living. There are many people living in not very good conditions, because it's not organized, the city, for such a big number of people. So, the vulnerability of the region is very high. So maybe you can have a extreme event, or you can have a tropical cyclone that is not very strong, but for the region it is. And just to finish my part, so I want to show you some of the papers we have published with this group. More than 20 papers in the last years, dealing in very important and high impact journals like Scientific Report, Climate Dynamic, Environmental Research Letters, Journal of Climate, etc., etc. And we have been working in different in different topics. So, for example, West African monsoon is one of our most important topic of research, but also in oceanographic measurements, Madden Julian oscillation, extreme event, for example, seasonal behavior of aerosol vertical concentration in Dakar, sea breeze impact, El Niño as a predictor of sardinella. For example, we have been working also in the impact on sardines of El Niño using a fish model, and in climate variability and malaria. Finally, we have two documentaries, as I told you, and some people came with us in one of our actions to record our activities, and you can check these are from like 6 or 7 years ago. Now, what we are very happy because the students in the university here at University Complutense are also very interested in the project, and there is a volunteer program. For example, this is a student, and now he's doing the PhD, but before she was a student, and she went during 3 months to stay in the university, and also collaborating in the activities that we do in the University Cheikh Anta Diop. And finally, this year, as I told you before, this homemade experiment laboratory has been moved to Dakar. You can see some of them. These are experiments of pressure, are very simple experiments. These are to create tornadoes, also to create a cloud in a bottle. This in the bottom is to create El Niño, and the abuelim. He is David, who went 3 months to design these experiments. And this is a picture in a school in which they were doing a performance of this experiment for the students in this school in Dakar. So just to finish, this is a picture of Kumbanian, Ibrahim Adiouf. These are the first students we had. They finished the PhD like eight years ago. And now I think they are very consolidated researchers. And as Kumba is working in, I think it's in Wisconsin University. I have to check because she was in ICTP and now she moved to US. And Ibrahima is in Save the Children, and he was working in climate and health in IRI. So thank you very much, and I give the turn to Luis.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So thank you, Kelly, again for the invitation. I understand you are hearing me. Is that right?
Yes,
Can
we
you
hear you
me?
well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Belén, for the nice pictures when I was younger. I appreciate it. Time goes fast. So I will try to be to show you some or to share with you some experiences. In this case, more related to technical and technological cooperation. And UCAD Med is the name of our network, that's right, but it's also the name of I would say, this climate and meteorology collaboration between the two universities, UCAD and UCM. And this started some time ago when Belén suggested me to help with doing some automatic measurements of temperature and precipitation in Dakar. And I agreed to try. And after so many years, it seems like I'm very involved with this program, with this experiment. So I'm happy to be still working with this. Now it's a more sophisticated thing, and I hope it grows more in the future. The objective of this network, in this case, I'm talking only about the measuring, the observatory, is, we would like to have nice high quality measurements, observations in West Africa. Also, we would like to help to improve the knowledge of West African meteorology and climate, obviously on the impact on society. And Belén gave some very good examples of how meteorology and climate is very related to economical, health, and environmental aspects. And obviously, another objective is to promote collaboration between our two institutions, UCAD in Dakar and UCM in Madrid, and obviously, by extension, to any other group or university or entity that would like to collaborate with this region of Africa. So, how can we succeed with these objectives? Well, we have defined a strategy. This strategy obviously is not something that we designed in purpose or before, but it's something that we can think of after some years. And it's probably would be a recommendation from anybody doing something like this in another place. Okay. So the first thing that we find important to get these objectives is to have a realistic design. We need to use sustainable equipment, and it's very important to have quality checks. I'm saying something that is very common for any other network, but in this case, maybe it's more important to be modest on the equipment that you are using. Then we need to get funds. We need to do capacity building at both sides. I'm here talking about the students and staff from UCAD and UCM. So we need to form. We need to teach people how to deal with observations, because I think this is something that is not very common. I don't know there in the US, but at least here in Spain, also in Senegal, it's hard to find groups with skills on automatic or manual observation. Okay, and the most important, we need a very long-term commitment, because it's very important to have people that is willing to help for a lot of years. We are talking about climate time series. We are talking about long time until you have nice measurements to do research. So I would say this is a long-term objective. Obviously, we are open to collaborate with other institutions, and we are that are willing to help us with human, technical, or economical resources. I would say that the aim of this platform is to encourage collaboration between people. I would say people from diverse cultures and working methods. Yeah. It's true that our main goal is to focus on the impact of meteorology and climate on society, but from a personal point of view, this is also something that goes beyond that, and it's also a very personal experience. Well, this is a map of on the right. You have a map of the world map with the stations the surface stations that are operative now, the blue ones, and the red ones are stations that were operative before, that they are not working anymore. If you look at on the graph on the left, the bottom, the red line shows you the balance of surface meteorological stations in the world. Well, this is according to a database. It's according to the Global Historical Climatology Network Daily. I have there the link. So obviously, this is not all the stations in the world, but it's a good I would say it's a good approximation. So the question is, well, is surface observation an ancient craft? Is something that used to be done before the 2000s, and now we only use satellites, we use reanalysis, so what? So we don't think so. We think that local processes are very important. You need in situ measurements, but and no satellites are very useful. Reanalysis are too, but there are certain things that cannot be substituted by these techniques. So, well, this is our grain in the sand. This is our collaboration to fill the gap. This is the UCAD Med network as it is right now. You will see, okay, only 2 sites. Well, we have been going through a process. We are concentrating our efforts in a couple of sites. We are moving to a next one, but we are going little by little. We used to have also stations in other places in the peninsula, and also we have been doing collaboration with other universities in Senegal. But well, we have little resources, and we think that it's better to concentrate and do a good to have long time series instead of a lot of a spread and not very complete time series. So our main station will be, our main site will be the one at the university. Here we have some nice instrumentation. In the last years, we have equipped it with this drometer, 3 rain gauges, also a LiDAR that was somewhere lost in from a previous project. So we install it and put it there on service. And also we have another station in an island, in Gore Island. So here in the station in the university, we concentrate, because this has a suburban or mix of urban and not urban environment. We are here concentrating on the precipitation, radiation, boundary layer measurements. Okay, we also measure temperature and wind, but this might be a little bit affected by the city, and also we expect that the city will grow in the future. So there is not such much representativity of such a, from a climatic point of view. On the other side, we have the Gore Island observation that is very interesting for wind. This behaves almost like a buoy in the middle of the ocean, right? And it's with the advantage of being inland and be easy to repair and to maintain, and gives very good and representative observations of the wind. And now in the next, we hope that this year we will make a real, I will say, a fantastic location. This is in a very pristine environment. This is a natural park in front of Dakar. So from a logistical point of view, it's about 30 minutes in pirogue from Gore Port. So it's feasible to get there, and nobody lives here. There's no anthropological or is not expected the land use to change. It's very exposed to the ocean. So I think it's a fantastic location for climate studies, and we hope to do it in the next year. Obviously, there are other things that are in mind, like we have a lot of rain gauges that we might distribute like they used to do in the last decades to do some short campaigns. But I will say this is the kernel of the network. All this experience from the last years will be published in this paper that we are working. This is a collaborative work where we try to tell the world, okay, this is what we can do with this kind of network, and we will be sharing the thoughts that I'm sharing here will be shared here in a next publication, okay? And here we are some way giving some ideas, not very deep analysis, but some ideas of what can you do with this kind of measurements, okay? We will talk about precipitation, seasonal cycles, and so on. So we have some preliminary results for precipitation. I have to say that it's hard to work with your own observations. You really have to do a hard work on curing the data, validating, and completing some of the missing data using other databases. And the second question you have is, am I really measuring right? Am I doing things right or wrong? So we are doing some comparison with other databases that are available. Mainly they are from satellite. And just to give you an example, on the right, you have a 2-panel figure. The one in the bottom shows with the red line our totals for different years, and on black is a well-established known MS Web database, which is made with satellite and also rain gauges from national services. And I think we are doing things right. Obviously, we will never be the same because we are taking point measurements. On the left side, we have also comparison with even with ERA 5 and other CHIRPs and other databases. We have found that we have things to say about this. I think this network will be able to give information about how these databases perform, and I think we have things to say for sure in the future. Well, something we did last year, I think 2 years ago, was okay. We realized that it's very slow to have long-term measurements to do climate analysis. So we decided to be very to do intensive measurements with a very high resolution. So we installed this disdrometer, laser disdrometer. This gives you drop size and velocity of the precipitation. So this gives you a lot of information. You can even have some research with only a couple of episodes of precipitation. So it's very nice. Here on the bottom, you have like a precipitation episode, an extreme episode we had last summer. And in color, in bluish and yellowish color, we have the population according to the size of the drops. Well, the purpose of this presentation is not to do to show the results, is just to show the capabilities of this kind of network. On the left, we have a classification scheme for deciding whether or not this precipitation comes from a convective or stratiform process phenomena. Also, we are working with wind. Belén mentioned about the importance of wind in this area and its relationship with upwelling. Well, this is on the right. You have a graph for the summer, the rainy season. Okay, and on the bottom you have a typically upwelling month, upwelling. Coming from the north, the trade winds. On the left, we have some analysis we are performing now, by the way, in collaboration with Kelly, in relation with land breezes. Also, we have a lot to say with boundary layer. We have a LiDAR that gives you, well, actually it's a sailometer. It gives us some the backscatter intensity due to particles and things suspended in the air. It can be water, it can be dust, can be natural, can be anthropogenic. So we have a lot of things to say here. And that this wind rose in the middle is relating wind direction with episodes of AOT high concentration. And okay, this is just to show the capability of this network to work to analyze the dust and also the air pollution. We have all this information. We have it almost on real time in our computer. And okay, maybe in the future we convert this into an early warning system. I think it would be very interesting for society. As Belén said, during the rain season, we have strong episodes. This will be really helpful for the authorities. Obviously, they have their own Met service, but I think we can be also give an added value in terms of resolution, in terms of time to have the information on the air. Like in this case, we use Twitter or X network to spread there. So these are the results and the lessons learned that I want to share with you. And our conclusions would be, well, it seems feasible to make some contribution for these under-monitored regions, like in this case, West Africa, with minimal resources. We, as Belén said, we don't have much resources, but I think our main treasure is the commitment and the long-term commitment, I would say, and the human part, not so much the economical resources. One lesson learned is that it's better to concentrate in one place, master the technical difficulties you will find, and then move to the new sites. We have learned this after some trial and error, but now we are doing that. We have been succeeding the last years. Now we are brave enough to go for a new site. I think it's better to invest your budget in robust systems, simple and sustainable for a long time, instead of going for very complex measurements and short campaigns. We believe that it's better to have a long-term time series, even though it's just precipitation and a rain gauge. Well, the human resources, I would say, is the main component for being successful in this kind of networks. And also having a nice sensors, okay, and equipment. Since we are not a big group, we don't have a technical staff, we don't have technicians, we don't have engineers for us, so we have to do everything by ourselves. So we have to involve scientists that are used to use reanalysis and models. Okay, now why don't you try to work with observation data? So you help us with queuing the data, validating, and also why don't you help us taking care of the real-time monitoring, troubleshooting, and fundraising with your projects. So we are involving a lot of people in the observation process. And now we are, after some years, now we are at the point where we need to develop a data policy. Okay, in some way, we want to use this data for our own research. We want to analyze them, but obviously all this effort takes us time. But on the other hand, we need to be open to other people to use it. So we need to discuss a little bit about how to deal with this. How can we have some guarantee that we have enough time to do our own research and also to share with other groups. And obviously, there is a human and a cultural dimension that also plays a role in this kind of long-term collaboration. You really need to, for any long-term, and I'm not any long-term with other group, is very important to have a very good relationship and to work in a very nice mood, because problems arise always. And this is it. I tried to be concise. I hope it was interesting for you.
Thank you so much, Belén and Luis. You were right on time. Thank you for that. I mean, this is really a great talk. You are both doing very amazing work, inspiring work with the younger generations, as well with teaching and research with our African collaborators. So let's move on now, in the interest of time, to the Q&A. And so we have the Slido here for the barcode for those watching us online, to make sure they post their questions on the Slido. And so as we wait for those to come up, I really think it is amazing how you have developed this curriculum of courses, Belén. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about that, how you structure this way of bringing in education to the African grad students and students overall.
Well, we go to a department named Laboratory of Ocean and Atmosphere, and the students there are PhD students, master students, and also bachelor students. So they have a background on climate meteorology. So for starting is a good point. So what we did at the beginning was to try to understand their needs, not to come and say, well, I'm going to give you a course, because sometimes you think that, and that's not the way. So what we did is go there, talk to them, and see, because we were working in a European project called AMA, African Monsoon Multidisciplinary Analysis, before. And in this project, we met some of the people of that laboratory. And talking with them, we realized that they wanted to interact more, and that we interact more with the students, because, for example, in my case, I give data analysis, the subject of data analysis in Madrid. So talking to them when we went, they say, well, we can start giving some courses about some statistical techniques, how to do regression maps by basic statistics, how to work with a multivariate analysis, like principal component, filtering the data, I don't know, regression. Now we are also working with some artificial intelligence tools. And so, well, our approach has been based on listening to their needs and try to build together. And indeed, for this one, I don't like to talk about cooperation, because last year Kumba came to Madrid and she gave a course to the people in our master in Madrid. I mean, it's an internship of knowledge. And also we think we are helping in a way that these people in Dakar need to be launched to the research community in a way, because we had the same problem in Spain years ago. I mean, you were Spanish going to a meeting in US and you felt bad. No, you felt that you were not at the same level, and it was not true. but you had this feeling. So in a way, we feel some we feel some we have empathy with them. So we try to launch that. So well, I mean, and then for example, we really think that the studies in Sahel are a source of research that is very grateful. I mean, you just have to work with the data, and you see that the signal of El Nino very clear, the Atlantic, the Madden Julian. I mean, it's amazing to work just from the point of view of a researcher. So I
Right.
think it's very nice.
Wonderful. Thank you, Belén. We have a question from the audience from Yoyani Binitoglu. That was excellent. According to your experience, what was the most important drive for the long-term commitment of both sides?
I don't know if I understand what he wants to ask. The most important drive.
Yeah, I think I understand him. I mean,
Yeah.
how we made it for having such a long commitment from both sides. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't know why
Enthusiasm. I
it
mean, I don't
worked.
know. Curiosity.
I don't know
Right.
why it worked out. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
mean, and I think,
Me
oh,
too.
Once you go there,
Different.
yeah. Once you go there anywhere, once you have a close, you work closely with people anywhere in the world. I don't know. You have many things in common. It's fun. I don't know, and also it's so interesting to help in such a new area. I will say. So in my case, for data, it's very exciting to start a new measurement in a location that nobody has done before, and also it's not that. It's also it has a lot of impact on many people, many researchers and society. So it's very exciting. Now, in our last trip to the island, I think people was very excited. Not just me, everybody was very excited. Just like kids, I would say, kids to a new playground. So,
Mhm.
I think this is important. I don't know if we will end up with a lot of papers, if we will solve many people life, but at least it's very exciting. So in
And
my
there
case,
are common interests also. I mean, from a research point of view, there are common interests. They need to build a climate service in their country because they have needs regarding fisheries, agriculture, agronomy, streams, I can so forth and so on, because they have but climate diseases are based, I mean, vector-borne diseases, and it's like a new field. And and but it's the long term is like what Luis said. It's common Islamic.
yeah,
Uh,
fantastic answers. No, I think that's great, and it shows in your work how committed you are to helping and the empathy. Like you hit on all the right things, and it really shows in the work you're doing. We have another question from Jimmy Duda. We need more of these university to university partnerships with Africa. Are you aware of any US or European universities doing this, or is this effort somewhat unique?
you answer, Luis, or me? Or
maybe
Which,
no. I give you the question to you, Belén. You know this new initiative from the European Union. It's called One Europe or what? We were
yeah,
told
well,
about an African
from
European.
Europe, you have the Sahel initiative on Una Europa, yeah, of One Europe,
Una Europa, yeah, it's in
Una
Spanish.
Europa.
Yeah,
But also, for example, the French people in IPSL, they have actions there from many years ago. I mean, we are not the first going there. They are the French. I mean, it is a French colony, Senegal. So the French IRD is there from years, and the
yeah.
Institute for Public Research and the Development. I mean, we are from Spain. I'm sure we are the only one. And from Europe, I would say that after I mean, as in the second place, we are the most common visitors. And in the US, yes, I know, for example, IRI, Alessandra Giannini, Michaela Biasuti. I don't know if you know them. They are working in Columbia University. They have some actions with them regarding rainfall variability, but are particular. It's not that they go every year like we do.
And also Greg Jenkins. He's from, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah,
the LiDAR.
Yeah.
Okay. He was very active in the past. I have talked with him sometimes there, but I don't know much about him now. But yeah,
right.
But
yeah,
I think we are very lucky, because I don't know why our university is really giving us funds every year. So it's very constant. Not a lot of them, but every year. So we are applying. We need to apply every year. So we are lucky that we have little funds every year. So this is not like big project for 4 years. It's a little bit for only 1 year. So I think that also helping a lot.
And in parallel, for example, Sorry.
No, you're good, Belén. I mean, the fact that the university continues to provide these fundings on a year-to-year basis, even so, it's showing a commitment too, and you're actually are able to translate what you're doing in the field to the university for them to say, we are going to continue to invest on this project.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you communicate back to the higher ups in the university like that? To like, report back on what you do, like, and it's so successful, right? You continue to do it.
Who wants to answer, Belén? You and me.
You can answer.
Well, I would say that in the okay, we did some. We have some platform. We have some seminars, but the communication in the from the bottom to the top, I don't think is very effective. I mean, it's good because they give us the funds, but I don't know if they know what they are doing.
They
You
don't
know what I
too
mean?
much. No.
No.
I mean, we had have a prize of volunteer this year for this student going there. But apart from that, we did a lot of research, very important research. We have important, for example, the case of Kumanian, a woman working in Madden Julian in Africa, having this a woman for Africa. She has been working here and also in the Institute of Mathematics in Madrid, and also she has a very great CV, but nobody has asked her what they only take care about. Well, you are a woman in Africa, but that's all, not what we are working on. No, there is. I don't think there is too much support from giving some light to our results. No, I don't. That's not. But well, what I have to say is that from the European point of view, yes, because we have these projects, for example, Triatlas, this project about marine ecosystem. It was a very big project from the Norway. From the coordinator was from Norway. It was like 10 million euros, and it was focusing the research in these coastal upwelling regions, and there were some partners from Senegal, and in that sense, we transfer our knowledge and our common experience in that sense, but not in our university, no, but in from a European context, yes.
Right, so it's more of a European effort. Got it. Well,
yeah,
we're almost at the top of the hour here. Belén and Luis, thank you so much for such great talk. We really do appreciate. Thank you for the audience for tuning in with us. Be on the lookout for the next seminar. For those that couldn't make it today, the recording will be available soon enough. And hope you all have a great day. And thanks again for joining.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.